Hey guys, I'm going to be putting together a series of videos that kind of goes through the process of us putting down a paper bag floor. So the first thing we did was we painted the ceiling just to make sure everything was fresh. We painted the walls, and then we took out the carpet so that we didn't wind up with clumps of paint on the floor, which I thought was a brilliant idea. Not ours, our daughter's. Excuse me. So now we're in the process of taking up all of the nails. So as you can see, all of the tacks where all of the padding was nailed down. We got to take all those up. Then we'll vacuum the floors really well. I had a couple spots that I had to treat. It looks like maybe the previous owner had an animal that maybe soiled the floor a little bit. And so I put some treatment spots down with some barrier. You actually see it over there, the out, and it's supposed to help break down protein. So hopefully we'll get all of that sealed, and we may put a little layer of sealant over it before we put the floor down, just in those spots to make sure no smell comes up from that. I didn't smell anything, so it must not have been a cat. But anyway, just to be safe. So as we go through the process, I will show you the next step, which will be the clean floor, prepared to get started.
Today is day 2. You can see that we have all of the floor out. All the little seams have been sealed and sanded, and we even had to build a little barrier here to hold up that piece of wall, her flooring, so it wouldn't collapse down. We have my sweet husband and daughter got us some trim up there, painted it, and then hung it up, got everything in. So now we have the floor ready to go, and we are working on the paper. This is my pile of paper thus far. This bag has edge pieces in it, and this container has pieces that don't have straight edges. There's my pile of what's left. This is what happened to my nails. I guess I was dipping in the water so much, just to put a little bit of water. If you'll see, when you damp a little bit of water, and it provides some moisture, so that way when you crinkle it up and then flatten it back out, the wrinkles stay better, and it doesn't require as much work because the paper gets soft. So, oh, and I forgot to mention, that's my ice pack. That's what I'm sitting on while I'm ripping papers, because sanding the floor last night, or something that I did throughout the process, I actually feel like I pulled my SI joint out in my lower back, so ice packs may be required. All right, here we go. Day 3. We just finished laying the floor. Took us about 6 hours to do from start to finish. We did go the whole way without stopping, just because we had heard some tips that it could actually give you some problems. It's really almost impossible to get every little wrinkle out, and so we're waiting to see what the drying looks like tomorrow. And then we decided to add a little bit of a personal touch, and we just did one heart that we didn't crinkle it up or anything, and just lay it flat on top of everything else. So this part's still a little wet, so you can see the glue. But anyway, so overall, that is what it's going to look like before staining. So we will keep going tomorrow. We're going to let it dry overnight.
This is day 4, I believe. And this is completely stained. You can see that I had some variations in the way that I put the stain on, and we decided not to go back and make repairs, because if we did, we were afraid we would just make it worse. So we're just letting it be our character piece. It is dry enough that I think we can do the stain. You can see little footprints here where I was just testing it before I put the sealer down, and my assumption is that's okay. Everything I read says that it still can be a little bit tacky and will remain that way. So this is our floor before the sealer, so we'll touch base with. All right, this is day 5. You can see some lines. This is 3 different applications of sealer, and you can see that I was having some issue with my brush last night, and it was leaving like marks in the floor. So I had read somewhere before about maybe sanding your last time before you seal your last coat, but I tried doing a little sanding in the corner, and you can see where it actually took the stain off in a place that was sitting kind of high. So I opted against sanding it one more time, because I didn't want to make it any worse. Again, I also tried that here, and it was an elevated spot, so you can see where it's left. And I'm hoping when I put the sealer on that those scratches will go away. I also wanted to show you too that it left some footprints. So this part of the floor, as you can see right there, was not completely dry, or maybe wasn't dry enough when I was putting my first coat on. So it did leave some footprints. So my feet are eternally memorialized in the floor. They didn't seem to show up anywhere else. So this is after 3 coats of shellac. And for some people, they may stop right here and be completely happy. The floor does seem pretty solid. Just knowing that we have some really heavy things to put in here, I plan on doing probably about 2 to 3 more coats, and then we will call it done. So I will show you the last after the fact when we're done. I also went through with a roller and touched up the wall where I'd gotten some stain on the wall. So hopefully day 5 will be my last day working on it, and we can begin the 72 hours of drying time. So we'll see you hopefully. Hey guys, day 6 and final product. So you can see our little insert of a heart we put there. Super glad we did that little accent. This was a semi-gloss stain sealer, and you can tell that the floor looks pretty consistent. We have just some little spots where you can tell where the plywood is a little raised, and those little prints that we had at the beginning where we stepped on the floor too soon are still there and are there going to be there for life. So overall, we're super happy with the completed project, and I encourage you guys to try it out. It was a fun project to do, and hopefully when we move our furniture in, we won't have any major issues, but here is the done project. All right, if you do this, we want to see your uploaded pictures and what you learned too. Thanks.